was the second tourist spot me, my sister, and my two nieces and my sister's friends visited in South Korea. It's the Gyeongbukgung Palace in Seoul. But before going around Seoul, we had to take our breakfast at one of the food chain, the Subway. So we have energy for a long walk. Seoul is the capital of South Korea. It is a huge metropolis. It is the financial, political, and cultural center. Very modern and vibrant city. And if we talk about fashion, Koreans will never go out of style. From children to teenagers to adults, you can see them wearing a very fashionable clothes. In getting around Seoul, this is the city that has its fair share of traffic congestion because it is one of the most populated cities in the world. So driving around Seoul is not advisable. You can use the subway or bus for a good option for visiting the attractions of Seoul. Or walking is the best way to see the city, to enjoy the beautiful parks that surrounds the area, especially walking along the picturesque view of Han River that runs through the city. Seoul has also a great history that dates back to the 14th century and some wonderful temples, museums, palaces, and parks. There are 5 palaces in Seoul where tourists can go and witness the history of the 5 palaces. The first palace is the Gyeongbukgung Palace. I hope I say it right. The second one is the Gyeongbukgung Palace. The third one is the Gyeongbukgung Palace. The fourth one is the Gyeongbukgung Palace. And the last one is the famous and the largest and the grandest of the 5 palaces is the Gyeongbukgung Palace, also known as the Gyeongbuk Palace. It was the main royal palace of kings of the Joseon Dynasty, built in 1395. But before you enter, you have to get a ticket at Gwanghwamun Gate. Admission and fees for adults, 3,000 won or 120 pesos. Children ages 7 to 18 years old, 1,500 won or 60 pesos. Children 6 and younger, seniors 65 up, gets in for free. Admission is free from everyone on Culture Day, the last Wednesday of every month. Discounts are available for groups of 10 or more. The palace is closed on Tuesdays. But if you are wearing the Korean's traditional dress called hanbok, your entrance fee is free. The rental can be from 1.5 hours to a full day. It ranges from 5,000 won or 200 pesos to 15,000 won or 600 pesos. You can also see some Koreans and foreigners roaming around the street wearing the hanbok dress without feeling conscious or out of place. This is a common scene near the Gyeongbukgung Palace. It is located in northern Seoul, South Korea. It is also a popular location for shooting of K-dramas like Goblin. Gyeongbukgung continued to serve as the main palace of the Joseon Dynasty until the premises were destroyed by fire during the Imjin War and abandoned for 2 centuries. However, in the 19th century, all of the palace were later restored under the leadership of Prince Regent Joseon during the reign of King Joseon. It also houses to the National Palace Museum and the National Folk Museum within the premises of the complex. Inside, you can also see some of the palace buildings like Gyeongbukgung Hanok Guest House, the Throne Hall and Floating Pavilion, the Royal Living Quarters and Library, and museums. Your visit to the palace will not be complete without seeing the changing of the guards, because this is one of the highlights, where the royal guards wore vibrantly colored uniforms. It takes place at 10 a.m. and 2 p.m. every day except Tuesdays. The performance begins when the gong sounds and continues for about 20 minutes. This traditional ceremony is a rare opportunity to catch a glimpse of Seoul's past. This is like an enactment of the Joseon Dynasty period. After changing of the guards, you will have the chance to take some pictures with handsome guards stood up in front of the Gyeongbukgung Palace. After a long day of roaming around Seoul, of course, we got hungry, so we tried to eat some street food called egg bread. And mind you guys, it was really so yummy. Then before we go home, we ate in a Korean restaurant. As we all know, Korean food are spicy but healthy. Typical resto in Korea, they usually serve a lot of side dish before serving the main dish. So side dish pa lang, busog ka na. About the cost of the meal, I can say that if you compare it with our restaurant in the Philippines, it's a bit pricey in Korea. They have also big department stores like Lotte, and if they announce sale, it is really sale. For nightlife, it is very lively in Seoul. You can see a lot of restaurants, clubs, and bars, but we didn't try to go out and drink. Just looking around the busy streets and bright lights of the buildings and bridges makes your eyes feast. So it's time to go home now. The temperature is getting colder, so we decided to go home a bit early to rest. Tomorrow again.